What's up? What's up? What's up? This your boy JG back with another video on music tips and reviews with JG. Uh, I thought the Janet Jackson documentary part one was pretty good so far. I like the way it's starting off. He's she's talking about her past life with her family. She went back to Gary, Indiana, to see her, where everything started. And I love the way, it shows the power of the black family. And if y'all tuning in, let me know what y'all thought about the first night of the documentary on A&E and Lifetime. It came on A&E and Lifetime. Let me know how y'all thought about what y'all seen so far on the documentary. But Janet Jackson, she was put into this family, the Jackson family. She held the Jackson name, and I guess she felt a lot of pressure throughout the years, being a Jackson. And it starts off, she's driving through, like I said, she's driving through her hometown, Gary, Indiana. Excuse me, my tongue is tired today. Indiana, and she haven't been there since she was real young. And it starts off, she sees, this picture of her brothers. If you haven't seen it, you might not want to see this video, but if you've seen the documentary, you'll know what I'm talking about. But it starts off, she's seeing her brothers on this picture on the side of the building, and she breaks down and she's crying because it reminisces, of the old times back then. And please comment. I prefer you to comment on YouTube. If you're up here, to comment on YouTube. So if you're up here, please comment on YouTube instead of Facebook, because it's crazy the way StreamYard work. I can't see the comments from Facebook. But anyways, it was a pretty good documentary. She said things that a lot of people didn't know about her. Her love life and stuff like that, and how they started. And I love the way they respected their father in the documentary. Even though he was a tough man, they realized that he was the one that pushed them to be what they were, and what they still is, a legendary family, from the Jackson 5 to, Michael Jackson doing his solo career, and then all the way to, Janet Jackson doing her solo career. So if you're up here, let me know what you thought about the Janet Jackson documentary. I thought it was a pretty good documentary. What's up, Steve? What's up, Steve? Yeah, if you're up here, let me know what you thought about the documentary. I thought it was pretty good. And if you're up here, you want to join me up here, let me know. If you want to join me up here, I had the chat up here. Thank y'all for tuning in. But anyways, it was a good documentary. I love the way they really shared the story. She shared the story of her life, her love life, her relationships. It got into when she was with DeBarge, James DeBarge, and she talked about that relationship, how he was, addicted to drugs and stuff like that. And the part I wanted to know about was when she said that she felt innocent. yeah, you gotta see the show. But it was pretty interesting. You still could join the show, but it's basically talking about her early life and stuff like that. But it was pretty good. they went back to the house, that they was raised in when she was real young. She didn't know a lot of memories about it because she was there. She was like 2 or 3 years old when they was there at the house, so she didn't remember have a lot of memories. But her brother Randy uh, told her a lot of stories that happened in that house. So that was pretty interesting. The stories to how they was in bunk beds in the same room, and how Janet and Randy they was in the front room. They slept in the front room. So it was looking at the house on the documentary. It was a very small house. It wasn't a big house, and it was crazy when they walked out the house in Gary, Indiana. There was a lot of people out there taking pictures, and I was like, that's crazy. Being in this Jackson family, like you were born into like being a star. Like they never had a regular childhood, or they never had a regular life. They was always in front of cameras, and like as soon as they got out the house, it was people out there. I guess they knew Janet Jackson was out there, and she took pictures with them and stuff like that during the documentary. And so, like I said, she had a lot of pressure being a Jackson. And then when she got into her solo career, no, let me backtrack, because they talk about the Jackson 5 and how Joe Jackson, really, uh, nurtured their gift, and their mom had a big part in that too, because she heard them sing and heard Tito playing the guitar and all that stuff, and they really saw the gift in their children, and it like I said, it really showed the power of the black family on the documentary. How the father really was in their life. What's up, Steve?
Yo, 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 what's up, man?
Yeah, yeah. It was a pretty good documentary. I know you probably gonna catch up later on it, but
Yeah,
it was a good documentary. And it really showed a lot of personal and human side of Janet Jackson. So, and
oh,
that's
okay.
yeah, that's good to have. Show that human side of a celebrity like Janet Jackson.
Right,
And yeah,
facts.
and how would you feel if you was born into a great family like the Jacksons? How would you feel?
Man, I know I would feel honored. I know I would feel like the pressure too,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
like you were with a group, but you also like amongst your siblings, and people got their favorites too, like
yeah,
that, and then but also too definitely would feel like appreciated and valued, because like the world like views this family collectively as an entity.
yeah, yeah. And they show. I know you knew about her being with James DeBarge. They showed about that.
You know,
Yeah,
I didn't honestly, I didn't even know.
yeah, yeah. She was married to James DeBarge, and
Wow.
they secretly got married, and so they didn't. She didn't even tell the whole family, the Jackson family, that she got married. So you can imagine how Joe Jackson
Wow. Yeah.
felt. And so they said that the night they got married, James had left her that in the hotel with her for 4 hours, because I guess he was on drugs, and he left her that night, and so and that was
Wow.
crazy.
How old was she when she got married?
She was around about 18, cause she said she wanted to, cause she was so much under Joe Jackson. You know how they was so under Joe Jackson. He telling
Yeah.
her, managing her, and telling her what to do. So it's like, like when you raised by your parent, like certain children when they raised by their parent, they want to do the opposite because they want to,
Right.
leave the nest. And so that
Right.
she was that type of child. So she was at a point where, she was in love with James DeBarge, and James DeBarge, they were so in love they talked all the time, that they got married, and yeah, it was a crazy thing. But they weren't married for a long time. I think she said they were married for like a year or something like that. So
Oh wow.
yeah. Shout out to my mom. She said,
This,
"Hello."
this
This
Mrs.
was
Gilmore in the building.
yeah. She said this was an eye-opening documentary from Janet's perspective. Was really good. So and they showed like they had the rumor that Janet Jackson was pregnant at the time. I don't know if you heard about that rumor before. And
No, no.
cause you
Oh wow.
know, yeah, cause you know throughout her career, she gained and lose weight, and so they said during that time, like when she was on Fame, she was on the show
Hmm.
called Fame, that she was pregnant with James DeBarge, and they said some girl was her allegedly her daughter on the documentary.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and then they said that Reby took care of the daughter, while Janet was doing her thing. So
Okay.
yeah,
What?
yeah.
Who was who took care of her?
They said that Reby took care of her alleged daughter during that
Oh
time.
okay.
So
Oh okay
yeah,
then.
and so Reby was I think they said Reby said she's 16 years older than Janet.
Oh
So
wow.
so they had a big age difference.
Is she
And
still alive?
yeah, she was on a documentary. She was on a
Okay.
documentary too. So yeah, the only one that's I think passed is Michael Jackson. He's passed away.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Did they
So yeah, what you
did
about to
they
ask?
I was gonna say, did they dive into like her acting career? Like Good Time?
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Good thing you reminded me. So uh when the Jackson Five they got big and stuff, and
Hmm.
they moved from Gary, Indiana, and then they moved to California because they were getting signed to Motown, and so they started having shows in Las Vegas. They was the youngest act, that had shows in Las Vegas,
Wow.
and of course, they was exposed to that life, and
Right?
she said a story where they used to see like shows, besides they show that they was on, and they had like how they had the topless shows and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
so and so they was exposed. They saw that, and so that was the first time that Janet was really on stage. Randy introduced her on that show. Uh,
Okay.
she was around about 7 or 8, and so I
Right.
guess I guess they saw that gift in her, and then
Hmm.
they showed that they had a lot of parties at the Jackson's house. From Red Fox to all these people at their house.
Wow.
So you imagine all these people. When you young, they had these big parties and stuff like that, and Janet said the story. David Boy,
Hmm.
David Boy, and so
Yeah.
they they had a party one time, and David Boy took Michael Jackson and Randy Jackson to the side, and he had drugs. He tried to introduce them. He said, "Have y'all tried this?" And he said, "Y'all want to try this drug?" And of course, Michael and Randy said, "No, we don't want to mess with that."
Wow.
So that I never heard that story before. So
I know David Bowie been on some drugs, but wow, that would have been
yeah,
crazy if they
yeah,
was introduced to that.
yeah. But that rock life, they
Right.
was they was all on that type of drugs and stuff like that.
Right.
So it was good, and it was a good documentary. I wish they would show a little bit more juicy. She would express more juicy stuff in there. But she kind of got to things. But she said the reason she was gaining and losing weight at the time, it won't. She was pregnant, but she said she was on birth control when she was with James DeBarge. So I don't,
Oh wow.
I don't know. She said that, but the way Reeve was acting when she was talking about that story,
Hmm.
it was like she was putting her head all around, putting her head down. Like she had more to that story, but she didn't really get into it. So,
Did they interview anybody from the DeBarge family?
uh, well, they showed like a old clips of James DeBarge being interviewed. I don't think there was new in. I don't think there was new interviews. I think there was old clips of him talking
Uh,
about they marriage.
okay.
So, yeah.
Did they also get into like JD?
Oh, they're gonna get to that tonight. So that's night two.
Okay.
They gonna get so they stopped at Rhythm Nation on this. So like her early life up into like the 80s,
Okay.
and so
Oh, okay
tonight,
then.
they're gonna go into the 90s. They're gonna talk about the Justin Timberlake incident. They're gonna talk about all that stuff.
I wonder if they're gonna get into the Bobby Brown one.
Oh yeah, yeah. My wife asked. She asked about that too. She wondered if they're gonna get into the Bobby
Yeah.
Brown situation. That's gonna
Yeah, I
be
heard
interesting.
about the. Yeah, I was like,
Yeah,
wow, I didn't even know that.
yeah. And so Michael Jackson, he went on and got his success with Thriller and stuff like that. And
Fact.
so the pressure built with Janet Jackson. But rewind. Let me. I keep going for two ahead. But the Good Times thing. They saw the talent in her at an early age, and so that was a legendary part she played,
Yeah.
Penny.
Yeah,
Um,
I was like, wow. Yeah, I saw that. I was like, wow.
yeah,
Nigga
and
can
I
act.
didn't. Yeah, and I didn't know the lady that played. The lady that played her mom on Good
Hmm.
Times. That's Kim Fields' mom. That was
Oh
Kim.
wow.
Yeah, in real life, her name is Chip Fields. I didn't
I
know
didn't even
that.
know that.
Yeah. So Gerald Anderson says it's good seeing Janet's raw emotion over the Bodge guy. Yeah, yeah, that was good. Yeah, that was like her first true love, and I don't know if that was her first. If y'all know what I mean. I don't know if that
Right.
was her first, but yeah. But going back to Good Times, yeah, that was a legendary show on Good Times episode. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
a lot of her early songs and stuff reflected her relationship, her early relationship.
Well, going to her
Maybe.
albums, shout out to my dad. He said good Janet Jackson documentary.
Mr.
Yeah,
Gilmore in the building.
yeah, that was a good documentary. But
I'm gonna see that though.
yeah, but going back to her early songs, she didn't have a lot of control over her music on her first two albums, because her dad
Wow.
was her manager, and
Hmm.
he had a lot of control over. Because she really didn't want them to put Jackson on her albums, because she wanted a separate identity. She
Right.
didn't want to be known as Michael's little sister.
I,
And so
I also
yeah,
I also heard too. I don't know if they're gonna bring it in the show, but I also heard they were like kind of competing. Like I
yeah,
know
yeah,
Michael wanted to do some
yeah,
songs with her.
yeah. So you know, Michael Jackson. He had this groundbreaking album, Thriller album, 1982. That album came out,
Yeah.
and so they became kind of distant. After a while, Michael Jackson, he kind of approached Janet a little different. She kind of felt like he treated her a little different, because of course he got the fame now, so they can't hardly see each other.
Wow.
And Reba Jackson also said, she didn't see him in like a year, because he was so busy, occupied. So he didn't hardly get to see. I mean, she didn't hardly get to see him for like a year. They ain't talked for like a year.
You you know what this kind of remind me of? I ain't gonna say remind me of, but because Michael was like the youngest,
Yeah,
but you take something like the Braxton's family, and like Tony was like the oldest,
yeah, yeah. Tony like the
and then
oldest.
but and then when you think about the father coaching thing, I'm thinking about Beyonce's father, you
Yeah,
know, managing
yeah,
her, and
yeah. And
it's
I
just
and I don't know if that's true, because somebody told me that Joe Jackson, he kind of wanted them to be with someone that was like light skinned, or another race. I don't know if that's a rumor, but I heard
okay.
I guess because it put the the appeal of it, the way it looks. But yeah, and so after the Thriller album, she really felt like she needed to do stuff on her own, and so this was the point when she wanted to leave her father, and her father was no longer her manager. She fired him, from being the manager,
Wow.
and so she went her way, and then uh, I think her mom, and her, they went to a Morris Day in the Time concert, and Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they played for Morris Day in the Time, and so
Yes, sir.
that's when they met, and so
Wow.
when they met up, they was a match made in heaven, and
It was
so
like it was like destined.
yeah, and so honestly, I feel without they they caliber of tracks, her career wouldn't be where it is now. Yeah, I think
Sheesh.
she owe a lot to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. You know.
I was thinking, yeah, facts. I mean, I was thinking too. I said, could you imagine what it'd be like if Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did something for Michael?
Oh yeah. Well, if you go to
Well,
the
they.
history album, that album. It
Oh
came
yeah,
out.
history. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out like '95. They
Uh
did a
huh.
few. They did a few tracks up there. They did Scream.
Okay.
Yeah,
Oh yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
Uh, my mom said this was the story of a strong black family led by a strong black father that had a great vision for his family despite his strictness. They knew they would not be success if it was not
Mm,
for Joe. Yep. Yeah,
wow.
and that's the point I want to point out too. I'm glad they showed respect for their father. They didn't say nothing
Hmm.
bad. They said, of course he was strict because they showed clips of the interview. People that was interviewing him over the years. He was like,
Right.
how you keep them straight and stuff like that. Of course, he ain't gonna say I too they butt up and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he said, I had my rules for them. Of course I punished them if they did wrong. And then he said he had to be hard on Michael because he was the lead singer, and so he treated them different. And so
I mean, can you imagine him being the youngest, but yet he's the eye of the group, and,
yeah,
and him launching out, and he's being put in that position as if he's the older son.
yeah, yeah,
So, but then Michael Jackson growing up, you
yeah,
know, he missing out on his childhood.
yeah, yeah,
Even though he's this awesome, amazing artist.
yeah. And around the time she was doing Fame, and she was with James DeBarge at the time, but she's discussing the documentary that she didn't want to do the acting. She didn't really want to be on Fame. She didn't want to do none of that. She wanted to go to school and have a regular life. But her being a Jackson, it was like she was forced, and like
Wow.
that's crazy though because like us, we want to be in front of the camera. We want to do this and do that.
Right.
But her, being in front of the cameras, so long, it's like she's saying I don't want to do it because I'm tired. It's like everybody in the world, we have once in a life, a million chance to make it like
Yeah.
that, and she just said I don't want to do it. Like, so,
It's kind of like she was groomed for it, and like she is the responsibility was there because
Michael,
of
yeah,
Michael. Yeah, she was part of that family, so it's like she had no other choice. But like you
yeah,
said, it made her who she is.
yeah, yeah. And so, it came. I like they showed clips of her in the studio. Skipping back to the Control album,
Okay.
they showed clips of her creating that album, and then Paula Abdul, she came aboard, and she
Oh
really
wow.
didn't know how to dance real good before she met Paula Abdul, and that's when she
What?
really her dancing skills started picking up.
Sheesh. Wow.
Cause another reviewer of here, they said, she really wasn't a good dancer at first, but
She learned
Paula,
real quick.
yeah, she learned real fast. And so, when that control came out, that was it. And
Paula Abdul, I know she was a judge off American Idol, but she was also from. Did she dance in Living Color? I know it's J Lo.
I think Rosie Perez.
Rosie Perez.
Yeah,
Okay, that's what I'm getting her
Yeah,
confused with.
yeah, Rosie
Wow.
Perez. Yeah,
But wow. So
yeah,
Paula Abdul
yeah,
taught
yeah,
her basically taught her how to dance.
yeah. And then this episode they went into her second relationship with this guy named Renee. I forgot his last name. Elizondo, I think. He was kind of, I don't know if he was mixed or something like that. But that was around the time she went to her second album. And so, rewind back a little bit between Control and, Rhythm Nation, she
Hmm.
was really, really feeling pressure. Like, on Control, she had the success, but people still related her to being Michael Jackson's sister. So, when she was touring, she had these big tours for Control. They still like, oh, by the way, how's Michael Jackson doing? Or she'll go to, they showed a clip, she was in Spain, and she was in the car, and then somebody, was in the window, say Michael Jackson, I love him, and all this stuff. But Janet
Wow.
Jackson got her own, her own fame. And so she was, I can imagine that pressure. Everybody keep asking you about your brother and stuff like that. So
So it's like she had to continue to fight to make her a household name
yeah, yeah. So that was
without being
crazy.
referred to Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Shout out to Mom. She said Paul Abdul is the GOAT when it comes to dancing and choreography. It was good. Janet got with her. Yeah. Yeah, and
Right.
Paul Abdul, she did the choreography to Coming to America too. She
Oh
did,
wow.
that African scene. Yeah, she did that too. So
I wonder if she did the choreography for that J Lo flash dance.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Sorry.
I'm not sure. Yeah, but it was pretty interesting. Uh, I just wish they got a little juicy on this. I wish she said a little bit more, but she said more than I knew about it. And honestly, Janet. Honestly, she's really not known for her singing per se, but she's known
Hmm.
for being a great entertainer. I feel.
I, I
Yeah.
remember Brandy said in an interview or something she wanted to perform like Janet but sing like Whitney.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, like her she's known for the entertainment because she's the package, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And like I mean that's how we refer, even though like with Beyonce can sing
Yeah.
too, but she's more of an entertainer, and that's why
Mhm.
you got the Sierras and
Mhm. And so yeah, and then they went. Yeah. So yeah, she paved the way for Sierra and all those types of entertainers and singers.
hmm
And so they went into Rhythm Nation. That was a big album, and they show
uh,
they showed clips. So they was kind of going against the grain on this album as far as the subject matter is concerned. Because the label, they probably didn't want her to go into the conscious talk about what's going on in the world, the humanitarian stuff. But Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, they kept it on the hush. The music they was working on, and so they showed clips of him, of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. It was good. They showed clips of them recording Rhythm Nation, and
man,
Renee, her ex husband, he had clips like over like 10 years of they when they was together. The recording sessions and everything. And so they showed a clip of them in the studio, and Janet Jackson got mad at Jimmy Jam because he kept saying, "Sing it again. You don't have enough energy." And she was getting frustrated. Cause I guess the singer and producer relationship sometimes get frustrating
Uh
when the
huh.
producer don't tell her exactly what she should fix. And so she was frustrated. She was like, "Why y'all laughing?" Cause Terry Lewis came in the studio too, and they was laughing and stuff. And she was like, What y'all? Why y'all laughing and stuff? Why y'all talking? I'm trying to get this song straight." And
Right.
so Jimmy Jam said, "You just not singing it right." And he was like, "Cut the camera off." But but her husband left the camera on when he said cut the camera off, and so
Wow.
it was still rolling. And Janet left the studio, and so it was good to see those parts, of the process.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, can you imagine that those times, like she, lay her vocals down, and she felt like that was good, great, that was good,
yeah,
and she didn't
yeah,
have to do no more. And then they say no, sing. And Janet has such an angelic but a soft voice,
yeah,
so to like, saying she probably like, how stronger can I sing it? But
yeah,
clearly, they saw something in her where she could do a little bit more or a lot
yeah,
more.
yeah. And it's gonna be interesting what they go over, tonight. They gonna go into Michael Jackson scandals in the '90s, with the young kids,
Hmm.
and how they're working on Scream and stuff like that. So that's gonna be
Oh,
interesting.
how many parts is this?
So this is the second night, tonight at 8. So this they only had two parts to it.
Oh, okay, so this gonna be the last part.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so
Oh,
yeah, those two albums, Control and Rhythm Nation, they was classic. And Rhythm Nation, that was the biggest, one of the biggest tours of all time. Because yeah, like you said, they was like in a competition. You know, who's the best? Uh,
right.
Michael Jackson, because Michael Jackson was, around that time he was in the Bad era. The Bad
Hmm.
album, and so it was true competition. During that time.
I mean, I was just thinking, I'm like, is there any history in music where like you got a brother and a sister competing against each
Yeah, and
other?
like they like on the top of their you know career, like just being a Jackson, like it's crazy.
But but yeah, but it was what was one song? It was one song Michael Jackson wanted to get on with Janet
Mm,
before they did Scream,
mm,
because Janet was doing really really good at this time, and Michael
mm.
wanted to do something with it. Somebody was saying something. I think it was B
Yeah,
Slade was talking about
yeah, B Slade, he a big
it.
Ja- Janet Janet and Michael Jackson fan, but it was amazing. Them going all the way back to their early childhood, and they showing how great their dad was. To pull them together, because they
Right,
was in one of the craziest cities in America, Gary, Indiana. That was one of the top crime
right. Wow.
cities at the time, and they showed a clip like they said that the neighbors would uh, get mad because they make so much noise in that house, and they showed clips of the house. That house was real small out, and there was 8 children. It's
Good
like
God Almighty.
yeah,
Jesus.
so that was crazy.
Did they interview those? So did they interview those next door neighbors?
Well, they interviewed the girl that used to be their neighbor when they was in California.
Oh,
They
okay.
showed it was a white lady. She was their neighbor in California, and they showed clips of when they auditioned for Berry Gordy, Motown. And so
Right.
that was fascinating. Yeah.
You know what's crazy? The thing is that like growing up, like hearing about Janet Jackson, listening to Janet Jackson, I knew that she was Michael's sister, but I always just referred her as Janet.
Mhm. Yeah.
And I think like growing up in the '90s and stuff, I think people when they did like listen to Janet, they really just seen her as apart from her brother, still knowing that that's their brothers and sisters, but Janet
Yeah.
is just like that's her artistry, that's her name. Like I didn't. I don't
Yeah,
refer her as Michael's sister.
yeah, yeah. She started creating her own lane. I feel
Hmm.
when she left her father management, and so the people that were working for Joe Jackson during that time, they went to work with Janet. So, so the assistant that was working with Joe in his office,
Hmm.
he started working with Janet as her personal assistant since then.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
my dad said Janet and Michael had a great hook skill with the music. Yeah.
Fat.
Yeah, I feel that was and going, talking about that. Uh, I still feel Janet learned a lot from her brother as far as
Yeah.
the clothing, the military clothing,
Hmm.
and all that stuff. The dancing, the
Right.
precision, in their dance. They learned a lot from each other.
I mean, I know their siblings are still some of their siblings are still doing music, but like they definitely like just kept with it, like
Yeah,
as far as like the mainstream.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But I think they were in competition, but not competitive. Janet,
Mm.
Janet. It's good to have healthy competition.
Right.
Michael, yeah, wanted to more or less reach that. Yeah, and she also discussed that Michael had told her to, have self confidence in herself. That she's great and stuff like that. So they was very close.
Right.
Randy, and Michael, they was very
Okay.
close. Yeah. So
What did was Randy interviewed up there?
yeah, so Randy and Janet, they was like the executive producer of this
Okay.
documentary, and so it was pretty good. Of course, Janet personality, she still seemed like she was hiding, still hiding a little bit, but she said, that she discussed more than we would think she would discuss. That's the good part about it.
Janet been more like a like shy when it comes to interviews and stuff? Because I mean, like you see her acting
Yeah,
and stuff, but far she's like kind of like mysterious. So with
yeah.
this, you got to see more of her like personality.
Uh, yeah, you see more of her personality. As far as her sensitivity,
Okay.
uh, she really breaks down. Especially when she talks about James DeBarge. She like one part she was so in her feelings, like she was like, I don't want to talk about it anymore because she was so in love with James DeBarge. But the part I wanted to know more about was when she said I'm innocent. She said,
Hmm.
during that relationship, I was the innocent one, and I wanted to know more in depth. Of course, she didn't do the drugs. James
Right.
did, and she
Hmm.
talked about how sometimes she had to drive out 3 o'clock in the morning to see where he was
Wow.
because I guess he was looking for drugs or what have you. So that was crazy.
Janet, it seemed like Janet had this like um she was the trouble person. Like she
Yeah,
was just like um she was trying to smooth everything. She was like the glue that was trying to smooth everything, bring everybody together type thing. Like
yeah,
she won't no trouble, but like when it came to entertainment, she did her job and everything. She lets you know, hey, look, this is my artistry. I can make it sexy, all this stuff. But she was always an angel at
yeah,
the end of the day, like, cause that's how she been.
yeah. Yes, I agree. She said more than I thought she would say, but you really can't give away all. Yeah, all the
That's
family. Yeah,
facts.
yeah, that's
That's
true.
fact.
Cause
That's fact.
Cause they, it's gonna be another rumor if she say too much. Some things you
Right.
gotta keep on the hush. Like
Yeah.
they didn't talk about, cause in the Jackson 5 movie, they got
Hmm.
into when Joe Jackson had cheated on the mom. I don't know if you seen
Oh, wow.
the
I
Jackson
gotta.
movie.
I haven't seen. I've seen parts of it. I haven't seen all of it.
Yeah, that's a long movie anyway. But they show when he cheated on, his wife.
Oh wow.
I think around the Thriller era. Uh, he cheated on
Sheesh.
Catherine. So yeah, and so let me know anybody that's in here how you felt about the documentary, and I thought it was pretty good. And they didn't show Missy Elliott and all those on this part. They was interviewed as well, and
Okay.
yeah, I think she really set a mark. They showed people in the doing the Rhythm Nation tour how they was so into her artistry,
Hmm.
Rhythm Nation, and Rhythm Nation was a good album as well.
Word.
Yeah.
What's your well, what's your number one favorite Janet
Uh,
record?
that's hard.
I know she got a lot.
uh, I
Did they?
think
Are they
she.
going?
I
Oh, go
think
ahead.
she was. I think she was saying her appearance of innocence was a way people took advantage of her. I think she
Mm,
was saying her appearance of innocence was a way. Okay, okay, I
right.
see what she's saying. Like she said she was innocent because she was a certain way, but people, trying to stare her. She was going through all these events that wasn't her.
Hmm.
I guess.
Right.
Yeah. But I don't know. My favorite Janet track. That's tough. Cause that whole Control
Uh,
album was good.
what's was that? Which one was Which one? Dun, dun, dun,
let's
dun.
let's wait a
Yeah.
while. Yeah,
Yeah. Let's
that
wait a
was good.
while.
I don't know.
And
Funny how Time Flies was. That track was dope
oh, okay.
on the first album.
I get so lonely.
Okay. Oh yeah, I get so lonely. That was good.
And then
And shout out again to Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They incredible
right.
producers. And it
Yes,
was crazy
sir.
seeing all that old equipment in the studio that they had, to create these records. It's like it's crazy. Like the music back then was so better than a lot of music now, but they didn't have the equipment that we have now. And
Dang.
so you said
Yeah.
especially with the man in her life. Yeah.
Teddy worked with her too.
Oh yeah. What album? Oh yeah, the remix.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, the
I
remix.
forgot what album it was, but yeah.
Yeah. But
It's
yeah, again, y'all let me know what y'all thought about this documentary. It was pretty good. Yeah.
did they talk about the famous famous
Oh,
magazine?
magazine. You talking? Was it in the
The
80s?
ha- the
Oh,
I
oh,
think it was the
oh,
90s.
oh,
The
the hand.
hands.
Oh, the hands on the yeah. Well, they probably gonna talk about that in the 90s. They didn't get to the 90s yet.
Oh, that's
They
right. That's right. That's right. Yeah.
cause Rhythm Nation was in '89,
Oh,
and
okay.
so yeah, so they still uh they gonna talk about all that tonight. So
She created some very I like to call pop culture moments.
yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah,
musically entertainment as
yeah,
well. But it's amazing growing up. With artists like herself, man. Like we witness history
yeah,
throughout our life, listening
yeah.
to this like woman.
Yeah, but I'm glad she didn't do too much to her face or anything. I know she got the nose done,
Yeah,
but I'm
right,
glad she didn't. You can tell she had a little. She probably had a little surgery to keep her face looking youthful, but I
right.
don't think she had too much.
Yeah, she
She
didn't do too much. Like,
yeah,
is
but
she's
yeah, yeah, you can tell now she's getting a little older now. You can
right.
kind of tell. Yeah.
I gotta show you this commercial she did. She did an old commercial I saw on Instagram, but it's in Japanese.
Oh wow.
This is
Oh.
like an old commercial. I think it was in the late '80s,
Oh,
probably.
okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like her acting skills was as good as her. Uh,
Facts.
you know, they showed that her acting, and I agree with a lot of other YouTubers. I agree that her acting is as good as her, or probably better than her singing. I feel.
Fact. What
Yeah.
what's this movie? Why did I get married?
Oh yeah. Why did I get married? Especially
Whew.
why did I get married too? She.
Two. Right.
Yeah.
She
She.
channeled a lot of emotion
Yeah.
during the time of passing the mic.
Yeah. Yeah. Acting skills. Yep. Yeah. Well, that
Yeah, I
that
think
was.
she.
Yeah.
I don't think, and of course, poetic justice. I don't think she get that credit that she deserved as an actress.
Yeah. Yeah. She don't. And I think she just need that big acting uh role where she can really. I think acting really is like an escape for her. You
Yeah.
know, all that emotion that she's built up, you know, from relationships
Mm-hmm.
to from her family, you know, all that.
Right.
I think she channeled that into her acting because Tyler Perry discussed on Why Did I Get Married Too.
Yeah, I
That was
saw
around the
that.
time. Yeah, that was around the time Michael Jackson died,
Right.
and so I think she kind of channeled that
Mm-hmm.
emotion into her acting. I think.
Yeah, when she was hitting all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like she was. You could feel it and you could see it. It was like
yeah,
wow. Like
yeah. But that Penny, Good Time, that was
that was a
legendary.
chill. It was legendary. It was a chill because when they focused on her, when they zoomed in on her,
Yeah,
and she made that expression
yeah,
when
yeah,
her mom was getting ready to burn, I was like, wow. Like I had chills, man. That was crazy.
yeah. A lot of I was answering my mom. She said, honestly, I know more about her acting than her singing. My true
Mm,
confession. LOL. Yeah, I think a lot of people, you know, that was, you know, during that time, they knew her more about her acting than anything
mm-hmm.
else. And then a lot of the younger generation that were born in like the 80s or late 70s, they knew about her music, you know, Control and all that
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Right.
And so, yeah, like we know, like we was in a good era because we saw both. You know, we saw
Right.
everything from the past. You know, the acting and the
Mm-hmm.
singing. And so,
Right. Fact.
yeah. Cause when I saw Penny on Good Times, I was like, "Oh, that's Janet Jackson."
Right. Yeah. Same here.
I
Like,
ain't know she was on Good Times. So, and then she was on
yeah.
Fame, and then she was on a lot of shows. Yeah, and
Oh,
then
she was on a Different Strokes.
yeah, different. Oh, she was on an episode of Different Stroke.
Yeah, she was. I think she was Willis's girlfriend.
Yeah, yeah, Willis. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that was a good show. I love Different Strokes.
Yeah.
I like the earlier episodes though, when he was real young.
Right. Yeah.
I ain't like the later episodes. Yeah,
Yeah. Later episodes. The older
yeah,
ones. Yeah.
yeah. Janet had it all. Yeah,
Facts.
yeah, and yeah, and I think what's your favorite Janet Jackson video, music video?
Um. What it was off the Rhythm and Nation where she was doing a choreography. She
Oh,
had the
really?
black hat and stuff.
Oh, yeah, Rhythm Nation. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I think my
What
favorite,
about you?
Steve. Oh yeah, he said Steve. I do remember her on Different Strokes. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I gotta see that episode. But I like her on. I think it was real simple, but it was real legendary. I like her on Pleasure Principle.
Okay.
She had the straight hair. She had the black
Oh.
on, and she was dancing. Yeah,
Sheesh.
I think that was really like her breakout video, where she really
Right.
showed her sexuality and showed her that she's she's here.
I had to go back and look at some of Janet's old songs. I was like, Lord, Janet look good. I mean, she look good now.
Yeah,
She's
yeah,
she's aged, you know what I'm saying, like wine, but I was like, wow, like Janet. Oh.
yeah. And so I can't wait to see tonight when they go into Jermaine Dupri and that the husband, her last husband she had.
Right.
I
Oh
forgot his
yeah.
name. Yeah, one she had the baby by.
It was like she got like what she got like 5 million or 500 something like that. She got.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And, yeah,
And
but
so I can't wait to see, they're gonna talk about Michael Jackson and stuff like that. And it's just, she was very close to Michael, and so they kind of tried to, uh, I guess, kind of single her out with Michael, guilty by association and
hmm
stuff like that. But they're gonna talk about it more tonight. But
okay,
yeah. So that's what I got from the first half, and of course I'm gonna do a review on the second half when I watch it. And
gotcha.
it's good to see people analyzing this part, and I think
hmm
this is a real good because a lot of people talk about her story, but it's good to hear it from her mouth,
Right,
and good to see her humanity in this documentary, and
right.
really hear it from her mouth. So, yep,
That's what's up, man.
yeah,
Wow,
yeah.
Janet Jackson
so
still doing it.
yeah, so I can't wait till her new album come out, Black Diamond. She's probably
Okay,
coming out with an album, Black Diamond. So can't wait
you
to
know
hear
who's
that.
supposed to be? You know who's supposed to be producing that album?
Who?
No, I said, did you know
I
anybody who might be
I know,
working on it?
I know Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They said they were working on it. So
Oh, all right. Let's say no more.
I think her albums with Jermaine Dupri was good, but
Oh yes,
they
yeah.
not up to what Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis did.
Nah,
Now even her
'cause
last album was good. What's her last album? I forgot the name of that album. It's gonna come to me, but that album was
see,
pretty good.
cause you gotta understand.
Oh yeah, she was on Nutty Professor too. Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah. She was. Oh, forgot
Yeah.
about that. Oh,
Yeah.
she had the glasses on too.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, yeah. What they did, I mean, it don't take away from what JD did at all. But what they did, man, I mean, they're like musicians.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is made more like ballads and classics.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's crazy though. This documentary came out because, uh, like last year, the end of last year, I was really into the Control album and Rhythm Nation album. I listen to those albums like almost every day. And
Wow.
it's crazy this documentary came out because I was listening back to her first. Cause I never really heard her first two albums like that.
Okay.
And sonically, they 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 killed those albums.
Sheesh.
Like on Rhythm Nation, Come Back to Me,
That's oh my god, that song.
hey, and
That's
they
that's
and they
probably
play and they play all those songs throughout the documentary. It was
sheesh.
all my life I waited,
It always
see you
gave me
smile again. Yeah,
they gave me
that's
like
great.
fall vibe. Every time I hear that, it gives me like fall vibes, like
Yeah,
October, November.
yeah, and
Man,
Escapade
okay.
and Love Will Never Do Without You on Rhythm Nation. Uh, I don't know if you remember those
What
songs.
I gotta go back and listen. I just remember the other one come back to me.
Yeah, Let's
Let's
Wait a
wait a
While.
while.
Yeah.
That's my oh my god. Lord.
I remember
And
I,
then
I remember I learned how to play that on keyboard. I was playing that all the time.
oh wow. That's
Listen,
awesome.
no choruses.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the one where oh no I know you know that song.
yeah. Which
That
song?
song which the one she
Oh, oh, that was on. Well, that was later on. All for You. That was like
okay.
2000. Yeah,
Yeah.
but
I will go back and listen to those.
yeah, Control. I like with Control, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. They really talk about.
hmm
Uh, they really wanted this album to be Janet's. You know,
hmm
Janet's album about what she feel about life and stuff like that.
Right.
So it's really expressing like she want to be control of her new life, from her father, Joe Jackson.
hmm
Yeah, yeah.
She even did a song with unless it was mixed, she did a song with Luther.
Oh, she did. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like an upbeat song. Yeah, get a chance, listen to that.
yeah.
Her
And so
remix, we even get on her remixes.
yeah. So I feel I feel without Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, I don't think her music would be, her music career would be where it got, because
Facts.
they really, they really did a bulk of her hits, like all of her hits, really. So
Like they set the foundation of who Janet Jackson is today.
yeah, yeah,
They groomed her,
yeah, and it's pretty
her
good.
style.
Yeah, and yeah, they show how, like I said, how Michael and her kind of separated at a while, and it's understandable because Michael Jackson, he became this big star, and
Right.
so you know you can't help fame and people liking you. And I think she really inspired before she did Real Nation, because she had went to a bad tour, uh,
Hmm.
and I forgot what state country it was in, but she went to a tour to see Michael Jackson perform, and
Mm.
she didn't realize how big he was. Like,
Wow.
stadium was like real crowded, like millions and millions of people out there, and she was like, "Wow, this is my brother up here." She didn't realize how she knew he was big, but not like
Right.
like that.
Big, like,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
international.
yeah. And so
Yeah,
that
it's amazing, man.
yeah. So yeah, like I said, I can't wait to see what they talk about in this next part tonight. Yeah,
That's gonna be fun. That's what 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock. Yeah, yeah,
Okay, lifetime.
yeah. So I appreciate you being on the show with me, talking about this
Yeah,
first night.
man.
Yeah,
Well, I was getting more insight.
yeah, I hope you can check it out. Of course, I said a lot about it, but you can see it. See it from her mouth. See how her
Yes.
emotion was. Yeah, yeah,
Listen.
yeah, yeah. My dad said it blew her mind. Yep.
Wow.
And it's crazy, she go backstage and these cameras and stuff is following her, and it's like, you know, she been through that all her life. It's
Dang.
that's
Right.
that's mind boggling. You going through that all your life, dealing with paparazzi and people making rumors about you. That's crazy.
I think they appreciate people they like in that the public eye like that. They appreciate being a human probably
Yeah,
more than like how
yeah,
we're like it like normally until you get that fame and stuff and
yeah,
people liking you and you reached another level of like acceptance and
yeah,
people loving you and your craft. So
yeah. I don't know if you seen. I don't know if you heard that song with Biggie. This time around, Michael Jackson and Biggie.
uh no.
Yeah, yeah. You gotta hear that. That's on a History album.
Okay.
But I think around that time he was just so fed up with the media and everything. He he was speaking his mind on that song. He was like, I ain't taking no S and all this stuff. He was cussing.
Oh,
He
he
was
was
cussing.
cur-
Yeah, he was cussing everything on that. I was like, wow. But
Wow.
yeah,
Michael, like y'all ain't
yeah,
playing. Put some respect on my name.
yeah. And I think this next episode of Janet, they talk about the how they worked on Scream,
Okay.
the song Scream. And I didn't realize that Janet wrote most of her own songs on the first two albums.
What?
Yeah, she wrote a lot, and people and that I like they showed that part, cause they showed a clip of Jimmy Jam holding up her notepad like, see, she's dope. Like they were working
So,
on yeah, they were
so
working on
she's a
Rhythm Nation.
songwriter as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, and
So
people
she don't
don't
get the
know.
credit as a songwriter.
Yeah, people don't know that. Even like Mariah Carey, people don't know she write most of her own songs. And
Ashanti.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And yeah, oh yeah, Shanti. She wrote stuff for J Lo too. So
Jay look right. Like,
yeah,
good God.
yeah. And so yeah, I like working with artists that can write too, because that really pushes the process of the song faster. Like I work with artists where it's like, you know, they want you to write and produce.
Right.
Well, I like artists that collaborate as far as lyrics,
Right.
because I don't know, I don't know what you're thinking, as far
Mm-hmm.
as your thought process, and so it's good to
Right.
work with artists that can write as well, because some artists like you tell me what to say each line, the
Right.
melody and all that stuff, but I like the
Or
collaboration.
yeah, like if you like, if you would say like if like you that's why when you see the song credit, you see people like they gave like this line or that changed that word or they gave their
Yeah,
thought like y'all you would say like I would put this or something like that. But
yeah,
like you said, you're both like giving
yeah,
input on the song.
yeah. Man, yeah, like the more collaboration, the better the song is. Of
Right,
course,
that's true.
yeah, well, of course, you don't want too many people because you gonna have to split that,
Oh,
split,
oh yeah.
split,
So I guess it's a business, yeah, business
split that
part too.
royalty too many
Yeah,
ways.
right. Oh
But
yeah.
but Janet, she was in that era where it was like a 50-50 thing, because
Okay.
back then the albums they probably had at the most two producers on the whole album. But she was fortunate to meet Jimmy Jam. They can, and that's good. Producers that can produce a whole album instead
Right.
of just one or two songs. They
Right.
they they have variety in their sound. They don't just produce
Right.
one type of sound for the artist.
What do you think? What do you personally think about that? Like, do you think it's more difficult having different producers on an album, or is it more faster or better having just like one producer or two producers or something?
Well, to answer that question, it depends on, like, these days. It's best to have. It depends. It's best to have more than one producer these days. Man, the times have changed.
Right.
Now it's like you have like 50 writers on one song.
Right.
Like
That's
like
true.
like if you look at Chris Brown credits, he got like a whole lot of credits because he sampled a lot too. So
Oh
he
yeah.
might have
Right.
he might have original songwriters up there, and then he had his name and.
Right.
But as far as check is concerned, it's good to have less than you can. So like if you look at R. Kelly,
Right.
well, I ain't mean to say his name, but I said it
It's
in.
okay.
You know, he had R.
RK.
Kelly produced by R.K. or Sylvester.
Robert.
Robert, yeah. So
Robert Kells.
yeah, so it was good. It's good to
Mm,
have that type of
yeah.
collaboration. So.
Him and D'Angelo.
Oh yeah,
They would have fun. Yeah.
Yeah, D'Angelo too. Yeah. So yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So they created legendary albums. Control and Rhythm Nation. It went down in history.
Oh, and
So
speaking of Robert,
yeah.
he did the remix to Anytime, Any Place.
Oh yeah. They. I don't know if they're gonna talk about that on the second half.
They probably
They
won't.
probably not. Yeah. Yeah.
But
So
it was
so
just a
yeah. So appreciate you being on the show.
no
Uh.
problem. Thanks for having me, bro. I know I
Yeah.
didn't see the show, but I mean, I appreciate the insight. I'm eventually go and see it.
Well, it's good to have both perspectives. Somebody that didn't watch it and somebody who did.
Right.
So yeah.
I was like, well, let me just go to like the time when I see shit on TV or something.
Oh yeah. But
What a man.
if anybody have any more comments, I feel free to answer them later on. But appreciate you being on the show, and I'll
Yes,
be back.
sir. Thanks for having me,
Probably
bro.
be back tomorrow to talk about the second half.
Okay.
So appreciate you being on the show, and I hope
All
you
right.
have
No
a
doubt.
blessed day. All right,
All right, you too, man. All right.
I'll talk to you.
Peace.
All right. All right.